have for both so far needs to be refined and looked at some more. Any flags anybody wants to share right now about that?
Do you anticipate us doing this as a work session and pounding out our definitions a little bit kind of thing?
I think so, but maybe right now if there's particular things we want to flag to pay attention to, or
okay. I think the thing to flag is that whole first sentence about making sure that we know what an addition is or a remodel is or what, because that's gotten us all in trouble. Those of us who've been doing things on houses and those of us who walk by other people's houses. So I think the misunderstanding comes because we have too many words for too many things or something. Mm-hmm. We want to know. I want to know what a addition versus a remodel, that kind of thing. We just need to be careful that we, or we could list all of those words on here and make sure we have all of those definitions in little letters below or something, so that the person reading it goes, oh, a remodel is not putting in a kitchen countertop, but a remodel is if you take the walls out of your kitchen and put, a new wall. I don't know. I'm not saying that's right. I'm just saying that's where we're catching a hard time.
Agreed. Yeah. Yeah, this is going to take a real fine-tooth comb and going back to our ordinances and checking it. And yeah. Might be clearer, too, if we break these into different bullets like that, we could just see. But, okay. I'll move on to building permit only. This is where we're saying there may be instances we've discussed where it's not a land use issue because no new footprint is being considered. And so we're essentially saying a land use clearance that requirement can be waived for the following. All interior, exterior reconstruction or remodeling on existing structures that is not structural in nature. Again, got to check the definitions. 2, all interior and exterior reconstruction or remodeling on existing structures that does not change the footprint or height of the building. I should say and or. 3, installation of a foundation for an existing structure, question mark. This could be good to get like the county's input on this. And 4, plumbing, maybe and or electrical work subject to inspections as contracted with licensed and approved inspectors and performed by San Juan County Building Department. That does not change the footprint or structural nature of a building. Some more things to mull over. I might just, should I take that out of yellow or just leave it in yellow? We don't have any real rhyme or reason to our color in here, but
you can take it out of yellow because we're going to go back to it and fix the wording anyway, but it's stuff we can all talk about. So
yeah. Okay.
I'm sorry. I just think the one thing is that number 1 is all interior or exterior reconstruction or remodeling on existing structures, period. Because you've gone to get a building permit, which makes it structural, I believe. See, if you don't need a land use clearance to go inside your house and do some different walls and remodeling, but you do need a building permit because they want to come make sure you put up the right walls. So not structural in nature, it is structural in nature, but it's inside what already exists or even outside what already exists. I think we don't need that.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Just period, on existing structures, period, I think is what we want. But we can talk about, you can put it in red to talk about.
Okay, thanks so much. Anybody else, any comments on this one?
I think it's going to take holding these definitions side by side and really, like you said, a fine tooth comb. So we're doing great. Keep up the good work.
Yeah.
Thanks, Coach.
The last box is so no building permit and no land use clearance. This is for, first of all, construction or addition of a porch or patio, unless it is closed by more than 50%, or if it's integral to the structural integrity of the building. Second, installing a fence or permitted sign. We get a lot of requests, like, does my fence need a land use clearance? 3, temporary event structures. 4, septic installation. 5, construction less than 200 square feet. 6, does that, like, what if something's less than 200 square feet but needs like electricity?
Then I guess they need a building permit, because then it falls under electrical work subject to inspections.
Yeah.
Or just does not require inspection. Oh yeah, electric or plumbing. Kind of redundant, but it's nice to have that.
Yeah. Okay, and then moving temporary habitation structures onto a property that does not require utilities and or a foundation. I think this is something we're wanting to address in that tiny house work we were doing. And then last, dirt moving, just being clear about that.
So the only thing I wonder about is something that affects not necessarily just the town of Bluff. Well, none of this is just the town of Bluff, but this thing about, for example, temporary event structures. When some things come to town that are big enough, are we concerned that the temporary structure that's put together is safe? I don't know the answer to this. I can only tell you that we've all seen sad stories of a windstorm that picks up a tent and hurts someone. I don't know how you get around that. And I sure as heck don't want to be the person who's inspecting, because I don't know that. So my only question is, if we say to someone, no, you can come to town and put up your tent and do something, that's great. But then have we said your liability, not ours? I don't know. I don't know quite the answer to that. I just know when I saw that, I liked it. Then when I read it, I didn't like it. I don't know what that means.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a good flag. Because if you think about an event structure, anything that's temporary is not going to need a foundation or plumbing or electrical that's permanent. So that wouldn't need necessarily a building permit. And if it's temporary, it's not impacting setbacks or height, so it doesn't seem like it would need a land use clearance. So it comes back to it maybe being outside of our jurisdiction.
Yeah, maybe something like that is like, must have town council approval. Gotta clear it with them.
Yeah, Omar, sure, you're muted. So.
Therein lies the problem of saying, well, that doesn't mean Erin knows how to, inspect something that's installed either. We need an engineer to do that. So I don't know. And maybe we have to do just a little bit of research on who says that. I love the idea of someone coming and putting up a tent and entertaining us, but I just want to make sure we know how and why.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, let's do on that. Maybe some folks can do some research. Let's do on all of this. As I had said in the last meeting, I had initially been designing this as a graphic. The Venn diagram fell apart. Should I just put this into a regular document, or is it okay to stay in this Google presentation mode?
I think you should leave it like this for now while we work on it and see if we can't clean it up to be a real pop. If it's not, we need to transfer it into a diagram with more numbers and breakdowns. If we get too carried away, it'll get big enough for an actual document.
Okay.
Otherwise, I think this is a great idea because it's in your face.
Yeah. Okay. I'll leave it like that for now. Okay. Anything else on this item number 5, building permits and land use clearances?
Just the dirt moving. I know that was something that we had brought up earlier and had kind of started bringing up a whole can of worms with it and then kind of tucked them back in. I guess that's a time to revisit dirt moving if it's up to a certain amount of dirt that you're moving or if we're just not going to touch it at this point.
Yeah.
Marcia says, don't touch it.
Well, from town council it wasn't a huge priority right now, but
Yeah.
One of my thoughts was in putting it out there on documents like this, it will bring more attention to the issue in case it's something in the future we want to address. So
Yeah.
Good point.
Yeah, I like that.
All right. Let me stop sharing. Let's move on to reviewing and updating our planning and zoning forms. So actually, I'll share a new screen. As a reminder to folks listening, we're just doing a kind of annual review of all of our forms that are online. So like an agenda request form, a land use clearance form, and just making sure they meet current ordinance and just our general needs. So I forgot how to share my screen. Okay, that's how I do it. Thank you, Marcia, for going through some of them already.
Wow, you're amazing.
I've been meaning to do it as well. I just haven't, but
No, this was a great chart though to check with, and I didn't use the chart. I just used the list of forms.
yeah. Well, and I ended up just pasting Marcia's comments in here. So I'll just review. I'll just go one by one. So the planning and zoning town council recommendation form, which is an internal document. I put that in the wrong one. I don't think there's any changes to that we know of yet. Excuse me. Sorry. For the land use clearance form, Marcia said just make any changes we deem necessary after refining this chart we're working on, and make sure that we have thought through all the definitions of like structural, remodel, etc. I think we still need to like look at these questions to make sure that the land use clearance form has the right date, signature boxes, all that. Should we like assign forms to people and they go through this little checklist, or should we just do that together in a work session? I think what's the best use of our time.
I personally would love to just have one assigned because that's exactly where my mind went when you pulled this up. I was like, just give me a couple to work on and I am happy to have an assignment.
I'm perfectly happy to continue as well as you know, I'm just out of town for the next few days, but after that I can come back to this. So let's keep going through and note some of the things we want to do, and then we can each do them to a couple of forms or something.
Yeah, and that'll bring us back to process. I want to talk to the end with Aaron, if we're making the changes or if we're recommending them to Aaron. So we can come back to that. Building flow chart, that just needs a big update generally. The land partition application, Marcia suggested we add C master fee schedule and then maybe fix the master fee schedule.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
The master fee schedule under land partition number 9 says land partition division or whatever, but it didn't say the word it didn't say the partition of the two. So it's just the wording in number 9. Anyway, we're good. Yeah.
Okay. Signed permit application, we will update that if the signed ordinance is passed at the end of this month. Subdivision application, we'll update that with our work with the outside consultant who's updating our subdivision ordinance. Variance form we need to look at. Zoning amendment request form. Marcia just asked do we need it? Does it need a notary? Currently, we're asking that form have a notary. I remember our initial discussion on that was that people would take the zoning amendment request form more seriously if it required a notary. What if folks
Okay.
think that?
Okay, I just wondered where that came from. That's fine. As a notary, I say that's fine, but I just didn't know why.
Okay. Ed or Malia, any thoughts on requiring a notary for a zoning amendment request change?
I don't know enough about it to speak educated on it at this point.
I'm comfortable without it right now.
So,
I think it's like anything else. If you're filling out an application for government, you're taking something seriously. So telling someone they need a notary doesn't feel like it's any more. It just feels a little more expensive because it's $10 for a notary.
yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Let's consider removing that. Our site plan application form. Aaron, we noticed this wasn't on the website, or I couldn't find it on the website.
I couldn't either.
So
Site plan application form. Was that the monstrous one that Chris had been going over at one point?
yeah.
All right, I'm adding it to my to-do list to see where that one is at because I feel like we have it. I don't think we just like let that go to the wayside. So let me just add this to my to-do list to see where it is.
Okay.
Application form. Okay.
And then Aaron, while we have you, so we're going to get more specifics on any updates that forms need. Is that something that we would just send you a curated, really polished list and you would make those changes, or is that something we can do?
I will say if you want it done in the next 6 weeks, no, you should do it yourself. If you have some flexibility as to when those changes can be implemented, then yes, that's something that I can take back on. The month of April, no. I'm definitely happy to post to the website, and I'm happy to, I know like a lot of our forms are like the PDF editable, fillable forms. If folks don't have the software to do that, I can definitely do that piece of it. But in terms of this stuff, no, if you need it done, I would say within the next 6 weeks, I would probably advise you to take matters into your own hands, and I can sub in where needed.
Okay.
Erin, I think it probably works that it's going to take us the month of April to fill all of this into a nice list and send it to you anyway. We might be done, you might be done by the time we're done. So it might work.
Perfect. Yeah, no, let's touch base with that as you guys are continuing. It just once we have a project manager, my life will get significantly better. So open communication, and I'll let you know how things are looking.
Okay. All right. Well, we have 10 forms, 5 of us. Why don't we each take 2? Well, I'll put your name next to that form, and then you'll do this initial review of like, does it have the date that it's due, the signature boxes, does it reference the fee schedule, all that sort of thing. Does anybody have a preference which ones they work on?
I'll take
Sure,
the land
go.
use clearance form just because I started to make some notes. That's all I care about. Everything else, I'm happy to take what you want. And if I'm going to do the land use clearance form, then, I was going to say the land, no, okay. Anyway, that's fine. Whatever you want to do.
Okay.
The flow chart one, I think, is all of us together because that's what that's the one we just looked at.
Agreed. Yeah.
Yeah.
I will do this recommendation form because I was just looking at it. Marcia, can I give you the agenda request?
Sure. It's pretty simple. I'll check it.
Malia, do you have a preference between the?
I don't. I'll take the next two.
Okay. Ed, are you up for looking at 2 forms?
I'm the bottom feeder among the pictures. I'll be the bottom feeder for this list.
Okay, so we'll give you subdivision application and we have Brian. We'll give Brian variance form too.
All right.
Work. Oh wait, the site plan application is really, I don't know. Okay, we'll do that. All right, so for our next meeting, let's all have reviewed these different forms and come with changes. Okay, you all good to move on to another item?
Yeah.
Okay, scheduling a work session. So last meeting we talked about having a work session. We picked 2 potential dates. I'd like us to move forward with the April 12th, 10 a.m. to noon meeting time, if that still works for folks. What I'd like to propose is that if this works for you all, that we invite Kristen Bushnell and maybe Ben Tomko from San Juan County for the first hour to talk about any kind of county questions. We'll invite Ann and Aaron to that first hour or second hour, depending on what works for everybody. And then for the second hour, we use that as more of an internal work session so we could work on RV ordinance, we could work on forms. How does that sound to everybody?
Excellent plan.
Yeah, I like it.
Okay. Aaron, do you know if you and Ann have general availability of that either 10 or 11 a.m.?
We should both, we have time. We will both be available for those full 2 hours if needed.
Okay, we probably just need you for one, so that would be helpful for you, your schedule. So let me confirm with Kristen Bushnell if she'd like the 10 or 11 o'clock slot, and then I'll, then Aaron, maybe I'll work with you and Ann to build an agenda for that first hour. Okay, everybody good with that for now?
Yes. Sounds great.
Okay.
All I can say is I'm way behind on a lot of things. I don't know how many of you know what's going on over on this end, but I haven't even started income tax yet. And if I don't get it done, I might not be there.
Understood. Just let us know, Ed. Yeah. And if you want us to take on those forms, that review, we can do that for you too.
Well, give me a couple of days to start in and we'll see where we go.
Okay. Okay. Just let us know what you need. All right. Okay. Item 8 is items for next agenda, which will be, I believe it's Wednesday, April 17th. We're going to have a presentation from our consultant on the updated subdivision ordinance. So that'll be on the agenda. What else would folks like to see on that agenda?
Perhaps we'll know more after our work session, because maybe what we need to have on the agenda is the approval of anything we talk about at the work session, because you can't approve it in a work session. So maybe we will have finished something that we can vote on.
Okay. You kind of play it by ear then.
And besides, we want to allow, in my opinion, time for this subdivision discussion, because it will be the first time we're actually with this person to talk about it. So,
yeah. Okay. Alrighty. Then last item is other. Do we have any others? Marcia, go ahead.
I do, please. We're leaving for a few days, and for that reason, I'm asking Amanda or Malia, or well, it has to either be maybe Amanda or Erin, but I think Amanda. Would Kathleen be able to send you the minutes to post and send out that I usually do, because I will be away from my computer for the weekend?
Yes, I can happily do that.
Okay, Kathleen, I'm hoping that would be okay, please, for you just to do what you always do, send the minutes, but send them to Amanda instead of me, please.
I will check, and I think that should work just fine.
Perfect. Thank you, Kathleen. Okay, guys. So anything postable, I'm going to ask you guys just to cover for those couple of days. Maybe Amanda, double check the planning email more so than, I mean, I do it every day or whatever, just maybe once or twice while I'm gone. Thank you. That'd be great. I just don't want to think about it.
Yeah. Yep. No worries. Okay. Any others?
Move to adjourn.
Second.
Okay. Any discussion? All right. All in favor of adjourning, say aye.
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 Aye. Okay. Meeting is adjourned at 6:49 p.m. Thank you so much, everybody, and see you next week at the work session.
Awesome.
Woohoo.
Thanks, guys.
Have
Bye.
fun.